So the reality of modern crime, the face of crime has really changed. In the old days, which could be 10 years ago, depending on who you are, if you didn't want to get involved in trouble, you didn't join a gang, you didn't involve yourself in criminal activities, and you stayed out of bad parts of town. And it was almost guaranteed that nothing would happen to you. But today, the police are the ones who are in handcuffs. The criminals have been emboldened. Drug addicts have been subsidized. Mentally ill people are running around free, until I heard a newscaster say the other day that every person who's mentally ill gets to slaughter one innocent person before they do something with them. And how many cases of that have we seen just in the last few months? It's true, right? Social media has made people antisocial, and the media really is just nothing more than a propaganda machine, no matter what side of it you're on. Right? So we've got a lot of societal breakdowns going on, and we have these sort of random violent attacks against the completely innocent people that never used to take place. I mean, if you just look at active threats by the pure definition, those numbers are up several 100% over the last decade. Right? So we know there's a new threat out there, and we all have to be prepared because, like I said, the police to a large degree have been handcuffed. If you live in this area, you're actually pretty lucky. The Omaha Police Department, I think, does a very good job. And I train law enforcement all over the country. So as a whole, I would definitely give them at least an A- or B+ rating. So we're pretty fortunate to be where we are if you live in this area. Risk by the numbers, there's about 1.2 violent crimes reported annually in a year. 8 out of 10 people will be victimized in their lifetime from a violent crime. 1 in 10 households will experience some type of property crime in a single year. So there's some homes that experience multiples. And then what's really kind of alarming here is only 41.5% of violent crime and 31% of property crime is actually reported. Most crimes are unreported and unsolved. So never think that your goal is to get the criminal captured. That's nice, that's a side goal. Your primary goal is always to defend yourself and your loved ones first and foremost. What I ask you for, or what I ask you to do, is to kind of follow what I call the protector's code. And that's just take 1% of your life and put that effort towards your personal safety and security. Just 1%. And I found that small doses of safety can increase your safety by 100% or more. 1% effort is, if you look at a week, it's about 1.5 hours a week. And it can be fitness, it could be training, it could be educating yourself, watching videos, paying attention, coming up with some type of plan, maybe for home defense, maybe getting some equipment together in your car, anything like that. These little 1% efforts will add 100% to your personal safety. And they're the place to start, but not the place to finish. For example, the news is filled with stories where I read them and I think to myself, man, a 1-minute lesson could have saved that person. And there was one of the things that started me in starting kind of my own threat-proof network, or the threat-proof community, which reaches outside of my normal businesses. I also work I'm one of the owners of 88 Tactical. I also have a company called Gray Group, which trains law enforcement military all over the country. But I really wanted to reach people on the internet, or basically reach out to them where I can't personally be there. So I developed online courses for that. And one of them was that there was a tragic active shooting event in a high school in Florida, and several of the students were killed as the attacker stood outside the doorway, looked into the classroom, saw the student standing in the middle of the room, and shot them and killed them. And the students knew at the time that it was an active threat situation, but they had no clue what to do. The teachers had lost a little bit of control. The attacker triggered fire alarms and things of that nature. But if they just had a 1-minute lesson from their parents, and if they told them, barricade the door, get in the corner, grab a weapon, be ready. That's it. Barricade the door if you can, grab a weapon, get in the corner so you're out of easy view from the hallway. Those children would have been alive, right? And as a father, that's the kind of thing that just scares the crap out of me, having to live with that type of regret. So 1-minute things are what I'm after here, and I'll give you some examples right here. So 1 minute to a safer commute. It's really simple. When you're walking or you're standing somewhere in public transportation, what you want to do is kind of put your back to something so you can keep everything that's potentially dangerous in front of you. You don't want to become a danger sandwich. For example, stand in front of an active train track, look at your phone, and then have your back turned to everybody that jumps over the turnstiles or walks by with a dark baggy hoodie in the subway, right? So position all the danger in front of you can. And then, of course, be a human, glance at your phone, but maintain your awareness. So 1 minute lesson there could have saved this guy.
A vicious act caught on camera today in New York City on the subway. A man dressed in black suddenly pushes an unsuspecting rider onto the tracks in the path of a train. Firefighters had to remove the 45-year-old victim from beneath the train. That person now in critical but stable condition. Police say they're questioning the attack.
Okay, so there's 4 people in that video. Only one's obeying the law, right? So, 75% criminal behavior there in New York City. That ought to say something about it. And I train NYPD too, and I always make fun of them because they apparently never follow my training when I watch them on video.
With this young woman's screams piercing the air, investigators in St. Augustine, Florida say her alleged attacker tried pushing her into a stolen pickup truck. But surveillance video shows the teenage store employee would not go quietly. She fought back.
Just that I had to get away, and I was terrified that he was going to hurt me.
In a video released by the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, 18-year-old Emma Marine, in her own words, now describing the traumatic June 29th ordeal.
It was just a normal day. He came in an hour and a half before the incident, and then he just used the bathroom and left.
Marine says when the man came back, he started grabbing merchandise, and then she tried to stop him from leaving.
I blocked his way, and then he said, "What are you going to do about it?"
Okay, so what's the other 1-minute lesson there? You have an 18-year-old daughter or granddaughter, or any young kid, could be a young male as well, and they're working at what we call stop and rob stores or convenience store there. You ever talk to them about what if somebody tries to take something? What do you do? I'm going to block their path. What did she hope that she could do physically to stop that full-grown adult male from leaving with property? Nothing. All she did was put herself at risk. In fact, she made whatever crime he wanted to commit easier. He probably came in, cased the place, saw her by herself, thought, hey, maybe I'll try and snatch her, maybe use that as bait to get her to the door. And then when she came to the door, just made his job easier. Now, she did some things right here. She drew a lot of attention to herself, and she did fight. And I will tell you, as a police officer, I've tried to load like tiny 16-year-olds and force them into a police cruiser, and you really cannot do it without severely hurting them if they don't really want to go. It is one of the hardest things they do. But I do see people kidnapped or forced into cars all the time, and I'm like, man, they really didn't fight with everything they had. And that's really the time and place to do it. Like, oh, he might hurt me. What are they going to do if they take you somewhere else, right? So 1-minute lesson would have helped her, but she did do some things right by drawing attention there and at least fighting to stay out of that vehicle. Okay, if you want, you should sign up for my Street Ready 30-day challenge. You get an ebook, you get vital video lessons, real world examples, and a workbook that gives you specific tasks you should take to improve your safety 100% with 1% effort. This is the perfect starting course for you or anybody in your family. Go out there, be safe, be ready.